we'll gather round, feel the love compound. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're doing something a little different today. I had a special order come in, and the lady that ordered this wants this gorgeous shell kind of like trinket box and a little, I guess, soap dish, or it could be like a ring holder or whatever. So what we're going to do is she wants it in the colors of kind of teal, two different shades. And other than that, she's given me pretty much free creative whatever to do what I want. So what we're going to do first is I am taking the little tiny trinket tray dish, and I'm just going to take some of Let's Resin's Opal Chameleon Flakes. Now this is I think it's like purple teal or purple something. And I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit around the edges of it. I don't want any full coverage or anything like that. I thought that just a little bit would kind of give it just a little bit more interest. And then after I kind of plop it where I want it, I am rubbing it in really well with a soft makeup brush. And then I decided that I want to add just a tiniest bit to like the bottom of it as well. And that's it for this one. The prep work is done. Now we're just going to set this off to the side, clean up these flakes everywhere, and move on. Okay, so for today, I have right now, because I've not used either one of these molds, I mixed up 6 ounces of resin. I figured for sure this would be enough, right? Okay. So I'm taking a little bit of resin and putting it into 2 different cups, like the little disposable ones. One's going to be for sand, one is going to be for some glitters. And then with the other 2 cups I'm using, one is going to be for the lighter kind of tealish color and the other one for the darker one. Now, what I'm going to do is for the glitter, I have this really gorgeous teal like mermaid glitter, and I just added, and it's like a chunky glitter, right? And then I just added a little bit of that non-sinking glitter in like the tealish color that I have. And we're going to add in a drop of Elmer's glue, mainly because I kind of want it to stay where I put it. I don't want it all over the place. We're going to set that to the side. Now let's mix up our colors, going in with the darkest one first. Now this one I want a little bit less than the lighter color. Now, here is my thought process on this. And this is really important that I tell you this now, because you're going to, well, you'll see why later. So, for the little dish, I'm just want to do the 2 teal colors, and maybe we'll throw in some glitter, okay? For the big one, what my thought was is this lady is super into kind of beachy type scenes, right? So I thought in my brain, which is where most people typically think, that for the lid, I'll do kind of like the watercolors, right? Like the teal. I mean, I know it's not blue, but teal's her favorite color, but in my head, the water, okay? So we're doing the glitter now. I wanted the glitter to stay at the edges, only I forgot that this is where everything just starts going wrong. I forgot that I didn't put the glue in the colors yet, and that's what I wanted to do again to try and keep some separation in there. So it was supposed to be the glitter and then I go straight to pouring. Well, now that I had to wait, the glitter's done gone everywhere that I don't want it to be. I'm going to add a little bit of the darker color towards the bottom, a little bit of the lighter color up at the top, and now I need to see if I can get that glitter away from the front, because I didn't want it to be completely saturated in glitter. I really just wanted it around like the little round parts and stuff. So now I'm going in and trying to scrape it all up off the bottom, push it to where I want it. So naturally, because of what I'm doing, I'm mixing up the 2 colors more than what I really wanted. But we'll just keep on keeping on, right? So at this point, I realized that there's no way in hell I'm going to have the amount of resin that I need because I'm almost out of resin completely and I'm not even done filling the lid yet. So there's that. So the lid pretty much just, if anyone has this, takes almost 6 full ounces. Actually, it does take 6 full ounces because I didn't pour anything else. And I ended up using the little bit of clear I have left and the rest of this glitter, trying to shove it back where I want it in here. And I still had to mix up a little bit more to add it in. Okay, but the bottom of it, because I'm thinking beaches, right? So if I have the top kind of the water, I thought, well, if I do the bottom kind of shells that you would see, you know how when you're at the beach and you walk along where the water line is, that's where you see the majority of the shells, right? Kind of all clumped up. So I thought, okay, well, down near like the bottom of the mold, not like the. All right, so the mold's upside down. So like around like where the sides of the mold are, right? Shoving a bunch of shells and stuff down there, and then for the bottom bit of it, maybe adding a few like purposeful shells, like the actual really shells that you buy, and some starfish and whatever on the bottom, and then covering that up with sand and having that be the base. So, it is kind of like a whole beach scene, but in a two-part mold. Does that make sense? I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably 100% right in this because it was just all the bad decisions stemmed from right here. What I'm doing right now is I can see a bunch of air bubbles coming up from the glitter and just from me mixing it like crazy trying to get the glitter off the bottom. But I can clearly see through the side of the mold that I have air bubbles there and I'm trying to work those out. Now, I do pay attention to this for a while afterwards because they kept kind of slowly coming up to the surface to try and get them out of there. Now, it is not completely full now. I'm going to mix up some more resin and I guess I forgot to push record. I don't know. But I pretty much what I did was I mixed up another 4 ounces of resin because I figured that's got to be enough. And I took a bunch of clear. I've already divided a little bit into my cups for the other shell. I took some clear, put it in the cup for the sand, and then I just threw in pretty much all of the shell pieces that I had remaining. And I have just been working it into the sides of this mold, shoving them down there, making sure that I don't have any kind of protruding and making my mold kind of disformed. You know, sometimes if you have something that's too big, it'll do that. And trying to make sure that I have no air bubbles. Now, I did not end up using all the shells here. What I did was because I didn't have a lot of resin left over, I wanted to kind of coat the bottom before I added some more of these purposeful shells. So I'm just taking a couple starfish, rubbed it around in resin so that I don't have an issue with air bubbles being trapped underneath of them. Place them where I wanted them, and then I'm going to take a couple more baby shells and put them on the bottom as well, doing the same thing. And then we're going to go and we're going to add the sand. Now, somewhere I have a huge box or bag of sand that I bought. I don't know where it's at, but I found this tiny little one. So I thought, well, surely this will be enough. It's got to be enough, right? Like, this mold doesn't seem like it's really that big and that it should take that much resin. It's fine. It'll be fine. Just breathe, Nicole. All right. Adding my sand to my resin, I'm going to mix it up and then I'm going to start putting it down on the bottom of this. Now, I made such a series of bad decisions in this. Didn't have enough sand mixed up. And I don't have any more resin. I mean, I do, but I don't want to make any more resin. So I have the sand and I start mixing it up and I forget that I have the starfish and the other shells in there. So I end up mixing them up into the sand and then realizing it. And by that point, it was kind of already too late. I tried to shove them back down, but I'm not sure if they're even going to be able to be seen or if there's just a layer of sand underneath of them and I just wasted, the shells and starfish. Well, then I decided because I didn't have anywhere near enough, and even if I used a little bit of sand that I had left over, it still wouldn't be enough, and I didn't want like a clear layer there. I wanted it to be kind of sandy. So I just decided that I've got all this shell that I've already mixed in the resin that is just going to go to waste. Well, not to waste. I would put it in something, but I might as well just use it for this piece, and that should pretty much hopefully fill up the mold. Well, it didn't. There's still some space left. Not a lot of space, mind you, but there's a little bit of space. So we're gonna set that to the side for a moment, and I'm going to finish this other shell mold, mixing up my colors. Now this time I did not add the glue. Um, Honestly, I forgot about it, but even if I had remembered, I don't think I would have done it anyway. This is one of those molds where the way it goes down, there's not a whole lot of space for you to get the resin in. Like you can over pour this super quickly by pouring too fast. You have to pour slow because it takes in a minute for that resin to seep down. Otherwise, it's just going to come out and overflow it, right? So, if I had added glue, it would have made it too thick. I mean, could I have done it? Yes, probably, but it would have been difficult and made a huge mess and probably honestly would have wasted more resin than I would have gotten in the mold. All right, so now I am just kind of going around all of the edges and making sure that you can't see any air bubbles in there at all, filling up the mold with the resin. Now, because this is more fluid, the colors are going to blend a lot more than in my other piece where I put the glue, because that glue and the thickness of it is going to keep that resin from moving a lot, with the exception of me mixing it like I did. And it's not going to blend nearly as much as what this is because, I've moved it around and I'm mixing it around now and all of the things. So, okay, I'm just going to let you read this because you need to understand. You just need to understand the just awfulness that happens from this point forward. Like if you thought my decisions were bad before, they got so much worse. So much worse. You don't even understand. So, in all of my infinite wisdom, I decided that it was a good idea to add the rest of my colored resin to the bottom of this dish. Why? I do not know. I really, I have racked my brain thinking, what in the hell was I thinking to do this? Why would I think that this was a good idea? In any manner of speaking. Why? I just do not understand. Because even though my decision on how I saw this piece semi in my brain, like with the water as the top part and the shelf, like the bottom part as the beach, this doesn't make any sense even in that aspect of it, which was already a bad idea, mind you. But here we are 24 hours later, and this is where I start realizing, like, what did I do? What did I do? But anyway, now it's time to demold the little soap dish, and as soon as I'm done, it turned out really cute. Now, I would have much preferred to have the darker of the teals towards the bottom more. I mean, it is, but a little bit more concentrated down there. It's fine. It's fine. Now for this one. Again, I apologize to each and every one of you for having to see this, and I could have cut it out, but I just sometimes sometimes we do things and we just don't understand why. And I feel like you need to know that if you're one of those people, you're not the only one. I most definitely have those days too. Okay. All right. So I'm pointing out some really big holes that got left from the shells. which is an easy enough fix. And then look. All right, so if you take out the part where you can see the green coming through, it's not that bad, right? I did lose my starfish and the other little shells. You can't see them in there. But this, it just, I don't know. It looks like two different pieces. It didn't flow the way my brain thought that it would flow and translate. You know, sometimes you have something in your head and you're like, that is a great idea. I have to do that. But you can't get it to translate out of thought form into reality. That was it. Because I think that maybe had I done it differently, it could have worked. Like, say, if I had maybe put some of the color down into that part of the mold to where it didn't just, it wasn't just a complete stop. It kind of, not ombre, because you're not going to be able to get it to ombre with the shells and whatever, not really. But if I started with the top part of it and just had just a tiny bit of the green, then went into the shell, maybe it would have translated more as a coherent piece as opposed to two completely separate pieces. It looks like I made at two different times and just threw them together. But we're going to hopefully fix this. I'm going to remake it because I would never in a million years expect someone to pay for that. Like, that's just insane. Um and so we're going to remake it, but we're just going to do the colors this time. I decided to keep it with the kind of little shell dish that I did add a little bit of those opal flakes to the bottom, just a tiny bit. And then I am mixing up a little bit of the glitter mixture, and we're going to squish that down around the bottom of the mold. Now, I just want to, again, I need this to be more of a coherent piece because it's not right now. Not with the bottom that's there. Now, because of the walls and whatever, it's kind of hard to get it in there. I just decided I'm going to dump it around the edge, and then I'm just going to smush it through onto the side and let it fall. It'll go down there on its own. If there's a little bit up near the top, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not like I kept all the glitter where I wanted it in the lid anyway. I clearly didn't, but it'll be fine. So now going in with the colors, and I'm just doing the same thing, putting a little bit of the color in. I didn't necessarily make it completely opaque. I mean, I still think it was a little like see-through-ish maybe, but it's not going to matter because of the depth that we're pouring it. It'll be fine. You're not going to be able to see through it. I'm not making it that transparent. And then we're going to mix it up, and I am going to add the glue again to this one because I did it with the first. Now, here's where it kind of gets a little tricky in how I added it, and I didn't necessarily completely think this through 100%, that when I was doing the colors in the top part, with the bottom of it is where I kind of tried to keep the darker color and up near the top the lighter color. I mean, granted, they did get mixed in fairly well, but there is a distinction in there. Like, you can clearly see that it's darker towards the bottom and a little bit lighter towards the top. Not as much as what I had intended, but you can see it. So when I did this, I wasn't paying attention to where exactly the mold was and how I was going about doing it. So in my brain, the lighter needs to be up near the top because the lighter water would be in the shallower side, right? And then it would get darker as it gets deeper, but that's not how I did the lid. Make sense? So there's where my color scheme may come to bite me in the butt with not thinking, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm just kind of shoving it in. Now, I did realize in doing this mold that when you put glue into your resin and you are trying to shove it like this, it's not an easy task to get it to go in there because it all wants to follow itself. So every kind of clump of snot that you pour in there is all like interconnected because you have to actually like cut it off from the cup to be able to get it to stop coming out. And it's all interconnected. And so when it moves and you're trying to push it down the sides, it all wants to go in one way. Does that make sense? But anyway, we're gonna fill this up. We're gonna see what happens, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I hope and pray to God that this comes out better than the last one, and I'll just give her that other one as an extra piece. What I may do, it's not going to be done for this video, but what I might do is along the bottom of it, just kind of do a kind of tannish color and just pour a little bit of resin there in like a tannish kind of color just to blend it more so it's not such ugly greeny. I mean, you'll still be able to see it through where you can see it through now. There's nothing that's going to change that unless I were to pour something over top of it, which I'm not going to do because that'll ruin the effect of the actual mold itself. But it's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right. Let's see how this one turned out. I did get a couple air bubble holes down near the bottom. It's fine. A little bit of UV resin will fill that up. It's nothing super bad. All right, so I think it looks good. It definitely goes better with this than the other one. But you can see what I'm talking about with the blue. See how the lighter blue is up near the top? And it's fine for the top part of the shell, like the top of the mold. But where the bottom of that is, it's darker on the lid and not in the actual, like, box part itself. Does it, like the bottom part? Do you know what I mean? So that's where, like, it's fine. It's good. She likes it. We're good with it. But hindsight, I should have thought. But again, when I poured it, it was just the whole thing. So I didn't think in terms of that, but that's something that you want to pay attention to, how you're pouring it, like for 2 pieces, especially if you have to come back like I did and fix the second one and remake it again, that you're thinking about in which way did you pour it before, because it would have been better had I done the darker on the bottom part of it and then the lighter color on the other part. It would have just meshed better together than the way that I did it, because I wasn't thinking of how I poured the other one. That's all I'm saying. All right, so just cleaning off all of these sharp edges, and then we're gonna dress these up just a little bit, not a lot, because I do think they're pretty. There is a lot going on with the glitters and in the color and all of that, but I do want to add just a little bit of you know, just prettiness to it and extra sparkle because I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with some rhinestones, and I am doing 2 different colors because the little, like in between the shells, those little lines, they do get a little bit wider as they go out. So we're going to start small towards the bottom, and then as we come out, I'm going to go to a bigger size rhinestone, and I think that it'll just make it stand out a little bit more, give it a little bit more definition. That's all we're going to do to the top of that. The bottom of the tiny shell dish, we're just going to outline with a little bit of rhinestones, and we're not going to do anything to the other one because I'm just not. And that's really it. So as I go through this real quick, I'm going to bounce off, and then I will be back
Added some glitter, it
at the
started to
end.
droop. Now my art looks like shiny dog poop. Poured it out, oh no, what a mess. Friends all giggle and it's hard to impress. Can't believe it, I had such high hopes. Now stuck dealing with sparkly gross. Trust the process, don't you sweat. Even if it looks like a glittery pet. Hold your nerve and watch the brew, 'cause in the end it'll shine like new. Bubbles, popping colors bled. Hours staring at this migraine spread. Who knew art could look so funny? Guess I'm making resin Play-Doh honey. Scratched my head, tried to twist, made more mess, now it's a miss. Still I smile and press rewind. Art's a journey, relax, unwind. Trust the process, don't you sweat, even if it looks like a glittery pet. Hold your nerve and watch the brew, 'cause in the end it'll shine like new. Poured it out, oh my, what a mess. Friends all giggle and it's hard to impress. Can't believe it, I had such high hopes. Now stuck dealing with sparkly growths. Trust the process,
I'm back.
don't you
So
sweat,
I think that
even
it
if
turned out
looks
really
like a
pretty.
glittery
Like, I do like how, I'm glad I decided to do the two different sizes of rhinestones. I like how it just kind of fans out. All in all, I was able to save it. Well, save it by remaking it, I guess. But I hope that even in the midst of all of the mess ups and just poor choices that I made, that you were able to, get something out of this, and it was able to help you, inspire you, make you laugh, something to brighten your day. Anyway, that is a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Thursday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Blue elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment, right? You lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's out for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care. Likes and shares, they grow.